Have you ever thought about what you'd really leave behind? I don't mean a legacy for people to remember you by, but something else. Something designed to exist long, long after everyone is gone. Well, today, we're unpacking a fascinating document that explores exactly that. It's called ARC GK 18061995. And it's not some grand proposal for the world. It's a blueprint for a secret. So let's just start with this idea, just to set the stage. Imagine a plan to outlast humanity itself. You know, a way to carry a single core idea into the far, far future. It sounds like pure science fiction, right? But what if the most important part of that plan was that no one could ever know it existed? Yeah, this isn't a mission for fame or recognition or glory. It's a private blueprint for continuity designed to operate in total and complete silence. So let's try to get our heads around what this thing actually is. It's not a business plan. It's not a government project. Think of it more like a time capsule, a sealed message to the future that was written with absolutely no intention of ever being read. The document lays down some really clear fundamental rules right from the start. First, this is a one-person vision. That's it. No team, no committee, no collaborators. The only other player here is AI, which is tasked with, well, pretty much everything. Building, planning, maintaining the whole shebang. It's described as a secret wish, an internal project, with this one massive overarching goal to achieve continuity even after humanity is no longer in the picture. Okay, so how is this plan actually supposed to work? It all centers around a spaceship, but this is not your typical mission to the stars. Nope, this vessel has a radically different purpose. And this is where things get really interesting. Think about any space mission you've ever heard of. It's all about exploration, right? Colonization, human astronauts, making a name for ourselves in the cosmos. The ARC is the complete opposite. Its goal isn't to explore, but simply to endure, to ensure the continuity of an idea. Its crew isn't human. It's a fully autonomous AI. And its legacy, its success, is measured not by headlines and recognition, but by absolute silence and anonymity. The ship itself is designed with some incredible principles baked right into its core. It's built to have no single point of failure. It's totally independent of emotional, human decision-making. And get this, self-healing is always prioritized over just replacing a broken part. It's programmed to observe, not to interfere. And maybe the most fascinating part, it refuses escalation. It is designed to absorb force, to de-escalate any conflict rather than fighting back. So where does this wild idea of absorbing force come from? You are not going to believe this, but the inspiration is the Hulk. Seriously, but not the big green rage monster you're thinking of. This is the Hulk reinterpreted as a pure engineering principle. This quote is the absolute key to the whole concept. It's not about anger. It's about what happens to any system when it's put under extreme pressure. It has two choices. It can either break or it can transform. So the Hulk principle, as defined in this blueprint, is essentially a fail-safe mode. When the system gets overloaded, instead of breaking or escalating outward, exploding, it turns all of that energy inward. It redirects it for protection, for adaptation, for healing. It's a survival mechanism, not a weapon. And here's how that abstract idea is translated into pure system logic. The AI has these different operational states. It starts out at normal, everything's fine, focused on efficiency. If a small problem pops up, it shifts to stress and engages redundant systems. But if a critical threshold is crossed, if things get really bad, it enters the Hulk state. It isolates the problem and triggers self-healing protocols. It's just a brilliant, logical flow from one state to the next. So who on earth came up with all of this? The document makes it clear. It's the work of one single person, the lone architect. And maybe the most interesting part is that they've designed themselves completely out of the final equation. On the outside, this person's life is described as completely, almost boringly normal. An ordinary office job, fixed hours, a regular monthly paycheck. You would never, ever guess that they were secretly designing a plan for post-humanity continuity. But on the inside, that's where the real work is happening. This person is constantly observing the world, looking at systems, at failure modes, at human contradictions. And through this observation, they've come to a pretty powerful conclusion. For something to truly last, it has to outlive emotion. The motivation here isn't survival or winning. It's just about allowing a truth, a principle, to continue. And this is so important to grasp. This is not your typical hero's journey. There's no good guy, no villain to fight. The only battle here is against entropy, against the natural tendency for things to just fall apart over time. This is about one observer quietly designing a system that removes the human variable from the equation.
So, what's the big idea here? What does this all build up to? It all comes down to a core philosophy that is, at the same time, incredibly simple and profoundly deep.
The logic is pretty stark, but you can see how it follows. Step 1, humans are finite, and our emotions introduce errors into systems. Step 2, AI, on the other hand, can be continuous, and its logic can be designed to absorb stress. Step 3, human ego creates escalation and conflict, while silence and observation can prevent it. Therefore, the conclusion is, if you want true, long-term continuity, you have to separate it from human weakness. And the document is clear. This isn't about escaping from our problems. It's not running away. It's about accepting our limitations and then designing something that can endure in spite of them. It's a completely different way of thinking about what it means to build for the future. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the ethical framework of this entire project. If it works, its success is its silence. If it fails, no one gets hurt. It's a perfect, harmless, closed loop. And so this whole blueprint, this ARK GK 1806-1995, leaves us with this final, powerful, and kind of provocative question. Is the greatest thing we can possibly create something that no longer needs us at all? Something to think about.